Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all, and welcome to our discussion today on solving some of your scaled agile challenges with structure and Power Scripts automation. My name is Miriam Sani, and I'm with the marketing team here at Cprime. We're very excited today to join forces with ALM Works to give you really some insights on some of the challenges and solutions for your scaled agile initiatives. Our first expert today is Phil Haycoop, Solutions Engineer at ALM Works. So Phil gets structure up and running quickly for new customers, but Phil also helps existing customers solve their challenges with optimized and customized solutions they can really count on. His passion for teaching, combined with his broad experience as an engineer, really helps customers understand the product better and enables them to mitigate and solve the challenges they face on a daily basis. Phil doesn't shy away from tough questions and will attack them with gusto till he finds answers. In whatever spare time he has, Phil is an avid fan of lacrosse on one side and cats on the other. Make his day by sending him a picture of your cat playing lacrosse. So welcome, Phil. Our next speaker is John Muse, Product Manager here at Cprime. John is an Atlassian expert with over 20 years of experience in software development process. On a daily basis, he helps teams succeed by expertly optimizing their process improvement, tooling, and automation. He owns the application vision and product strategy, defining the roadmap and helping our largest customers in leveraging our products for automation integrations and custom solutions. And he's really passionate about bridging the gaps between the business and the development side and really helping them to align on a common vision. And when he's not working, he enjoys spending time with his kids, watching action movies, and scuba diving. And last but not least, we're very happy to share the stage with Monty Montoya, VP of Product at Cprime. For the last 6 years, Monty has been building Atlassian product integrations and customer solutions for some of our largest customers. He loves to collaborate, as I can attest, with software development teams as they take on the journey from vision to execution. He's really passionate about growth, product management, and all things product strategy. He lives, and sometimes on the edge, at the intersection of people, process, and products to maintain some semblance of sanity. And between you and I, Monty has a bike problem. He rides bikes, he collects bikes, he likes to watch bike documentaries. So the next time you see him, he might probably be riding a bike. So without further ado, I'll pass the baton over to Monty. Monty, take it away.
Thanks, Miriam. So welcome you all today. We're joining forces with ALM Works, and we're bringing sort of this concept of a Power Suite meets structure. We really are going to provide you with some really good meaty use cases on how to rethink dependency management, alignment, and traceability. So quick agenda, we're going to quickly cover and fly through our approach, what are the products we built for those that don't know about us, and then we'll get into it, really kind of framing the problem, understanding the solution, and then we'll close out with some Q&A. So a little bit about us on the Cprime story. As you know, an Atlassian solution partner, we've been category focused, subject matter expertise as it relates to Agile, DevOps, and ITSM. Our marketplace footprint really kind of revolve into three key areas. We've built the Power Suite, a language-based admin framework, and really providing solutions for automation, custom solutions, and integrations. In addition, we have scaled Agile apps, as well as ITSM, service desk, customer sat, and quality apps. We also leverage kind of our joint partner solution. So it's also about joining forces with other large dominant partners in the ecosystem. And so product-to-product integrations is a key goal of ours, whether it be asset management, release planning, time tracking, workflows, collaboration tools. We really want to extend our hand across the aisle and really kind of bridge the gap and build a better together story. And so what have we built? We built the Power Suite, and today we'll be focusing in on half of this with, really just what is it? It's a suite of complementary plugins, eliminating the need for, 20 plus single purpose apps. And it's all built on a framework. So once you understand the SIL engine and the Power Apps and the brain underlying language framework, you can then start doing, extending it out to workflow automations with scripting, custom field with different types, external database integrations, bringing data in externally from other repos and using it as a part of your workflow in Jira, editing the UI with user interface wizards, and then scripting even in Confluence. Popular use cases and how we're leveraged really revolves around automation, application governance, and advanced administration. So anything from permissions and restrictions, locking down issues, inline editing, field manipulation, things like automating field values on issue creation or requiring a capture. Or even on the Jira UI side, custom error messages, alerts, conditional notifications based on some rules. And finally, in the context of your daily role on a team, process automations. So advanced JQL reporting, auto prioritization, custom calculations, and whatnot. On the ALM Works side, huge marketplace coverage. ALM Works is the maker of Structure for Jira. They have more than 5,000 active installs. They're an Atlassian marketplace staff pick, and also one of the leading Jira apps for portfolio management. In addition, ALM Works isn't just about Structure. It also has extensions, and we'll talk about those today. The Structure product family is really a suite of project management plugins supporting cross-project Jira teams. When you think about Structure boards, and you're going to get a sense of that on this webinar today, this is really where Structure boards come together to really dig into the Jira issues and the Jira data, and it's really just revealing a lot of information that's often buried deep inside of Jira. Popular use cases is really revolving around cross-project alignment, aggregated rollups and reporting, things like unlimited nested issue hierarchies from the reporting and traceability side, aggregated time and progress reporting, custom views. On the process support side, it's bulk change, Excel exports, and inline editing to augment the daily process. So let's get to our first poll question. We'd love to hear about you. Miriam?
Yeah, so we'd like to know a little more about our audience and kind of surrounding your challenges with dependency management in your workflows. So I'm going to launch the poll. So tell us a little bit about why your dependency issues arise. Is it because of architecture? It's too complex and it inhibits your ability to scale. Cross-functional team skills. You lack the skill set on your teams and you need to depend on others. Team structure. You're designed around components versus features, introducing some complexities. So we'll give everyone a couple of seconds to answer. And last chance. All right, and we'll end the poll. So Monty, about half of our audience says that it's cross-functional team skills that is the reason why their dependency issues arise. And I think that this is a common thing. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, we see these common problems across our customers, and it's commonly how teams, what are the team skill sets that they're lacking? And then that requires them to sort of depend on others. But a close second, obviously, is team structure. I think we commonly see that teams are organized around components versus feature teams, and that's where we see them evolving towards. Great feedback. So let's get into the problem. Really, as we set up and frame this problem and get into these use cases where Phil and John are going to really cover them deeply, once we move above team level, there's a lot of complexity at scale. Many different teams are using many different tools. There's multiple different methodologies. Planning is largely non-existent. And really for us, as we come together, we really want to bring together a unified approach to address these areas. Otherwise, complexity just accelerates. And as a byproduct of that, we're starting to see pains and challenges that are emanating outside of the development teams into product management, portfolio management, program, even the executive line of business who wants a report. And so who's closest to the pen and who's affected above the teams? Let's start with the program manager, right? They have challenges tracking and managing dependencies, as we just took the poll question and understood the clear issues happening there. But really for them, it's up to balancing and shifting all those work, maintaining an optimized resource allocation, and it's a problem. On the product management side, it's really building roadmaps and making sure that you can sit on top of the actual work and convey a strategic intent on what we plan to work on. On the portfolio management side, it's just, can you prove that where we've invested, that those are the actual things we're working on and focusing on in a strategic way? And so we've asked our customers, and a lot of the biggest gaps, the desires that they want are really these kind of scaling principles. They're all looking for collaboration, communication, some element of planning and refinement. They're digging into tracking and reporting. They need to connect the business to the technology, and so traceability is an important concern. In addition, there's process enablement, making sure we can hone that as a part of the daily ceremonies that all the teams, cross-team, with inside of the team are able to kind of convey. So as we think about the solution and as we bring in Phil and John to really go deep about these two products marrying up into a use case, we wanted to talk about and frame the solution. So what are we looking at today? And really what it is, it's a joint use case between two marketplace vendors, both available on the Atlassian marketplace. But really what we're doing is with Structure and with the Power Suite, we really want to kind of challenge you to rethink how you're doing visualizing dependency management so that you can do that maybe from the structured tree. We want to help synchronize alignment and traceability, bottom up and top down. We also want to augment your agile ceremonies. So think about it as instead of clicking through each individual issue, doing that in a bulk fashion from a structured tree from an automated wizard. And ultimately establishing that linkage between the larger work item of an epic and then being able to drill in all the way to what the teams are doing underneath. So we've asked our customers, and what are the biggest issues they're facing? And a predominant reason why we chose dependency management and traceability were because dependencies and tracing that work back to the strategy are a common area where customers are asking for us. We'd like to bring in Phil to talk about and dig into use case one related to dependency management and how we've married up Structure with Power Scripts for Jira. Phil?
Thanks, Monty. Yeah, so I'm just going to dive right into this use case where you can see in this structure several issues built up in a hierarchy across several projects. We have our epics and we have some stories under them. And where things get a little bit more complicated, obviously, is that in especially large organizations, there's a lot of dependencies between different projects. And where this visualization is going to help is instead of adding it on the row level, which would be an option, is we can use Power Scripts to create this extra column you can see here on the right called blocking. And it'll allow us to visualize what are we affecting with these stories. So for example, I can see Team A story 16 is blocking STMA 15 and STMA 1. And if we go ahead and create another link between these issues, so I can actually link one of my issues to an issue in another project and say this blocks that one. And in doing so, in real time, we'll get an update and we can now see what else is happening. And one of the great things about this is this visualization enables us to have these conversations on the team level without needing some sort of intermediary, whether it's management or another process or a separate stand-up. And so if I complete this story, I can now tell people on another team like, hey, that blocker you had, that's done now. So you guys can now get to work.
And Phil, that's a huge one. And I'd love to dig in there a little bit more with the follow-up question. What are the problems happening today? I certainly have this challenge in my, issue linking Jira projects where there's, so much information. Can you help me understand, what are some of the other problems people are facing without this solution today?
So without the solution right now, what we're looking at is I can only see a certain side of the problem, and the information lives inside Jira with the issue links, but it isn't always apparent. And adding all the issues with all the attached details like you would in the current structure board by adding the status and the assignee basically creates kind of an information overload. And this way you can drill down into exactly what it is you want to see and only that. And obviously you can do this in both directions. So you can have, you can see things that are currently blocking your issues, or if you have other links, it's fully customizable, which is great. And this allows you to really see what you need, but also only what you need and not much more.
That's huge. Additionally, we've touching on work log insights, and commonly there's a lot of work buried deep inside of Jira, and part of that is how do we allocate time when multiple people are working on the same issue, for example. And so in this use case, Phil's going to jump in and talk about how we've married up Structure and Power Actions for Jira. Phil?
Yeah, so this use case is built on some of the questions we've seen a lot. And what we've been able to do here is we're taking information that isn't always readily available and presenting to you in a different way that makes it more useful. Effectively, what we're doing is we're taking the work that you've logged on an issue and presenting it to you in a separate screen when you click on the button View Hours. And what it'll do now is it'll break down the work that's been logged on the issue. And you can see, for example, if you have a billable rate, you can see how that's worked. And what it effectively does is it allows you to scale outside of just the simple assignee and the simple total of how much work has been logged. So you can see this on, for example, in Teams, you can assign an issue to a junior developer, but oftentimes a senior will help them. And this will allow you to track through the work that's been done by that junior, how much help he needs, and if he's progressing to becoming more autonomous along the way. And it's a great way to just kind of get more information. It doesn't need to be there all the time, but it is always accessible, and it's very helpful in that sense.
Thanks, Phil. Let's hear, as we transition to kind of use case number 3, it's time for another poll question. Miriam?
Hey guys, sorry I had a little technical difficulty. For our second webinar, we'd like to know what is your biggest challenge that's impacting your organization? Is it alignment and traceability, bringing together epics and the team work to understand the bigger picture? Is it dependency management? We want to stop missing dates, pushing the schedule, or breaking sprints, or prioritization. You have a hard time making trade-offs. So we'll give everyone some time to answer the question. And Monty, it looks like almost going to be almost even. 2 more seconds, and we'll end the poll. And so Monty, so we have about almost a third for each of those challenges. Is this something that surprises you, or is this something that you regularly see with our customers?
Yeah, we do, Miriam. I mean, I think it's, dependency management usually is the first one right out of the gate, but close second is alignment and traceability. So it's not just, working out a lot of those issues at the team levels and cross team levels to solve those issues that they're facing. But, once you get beyond sequencing, it really is, how does this individual work item connect to the larger, bigger picture? And I think alignment and traceability is a really good segue into kind of our next use case. And we're going to bring in John to talk about alignment and traceability. What we've done here is we've married up structure and power actions for Jira to really kind of dig into alignment and traceability and show it in a bit of a different way. So John?
Thanks. This use case builds upon Phil's earlier use case, where what you have here is a structure board with epics, deliverables underneath, and subtasks. And it shows an overview of all the deliverables for a project. And it shows the Jira workflow status on the right. And the problem with the workflow status is it merely shows what step the work is on. It doesn't give an indication over the overall health of the work and what the likelihood is on that deliverable succeeding and being delivered on time. So to resolve this, we added some new custom fields in Jira, just a status field, it's a select field, and a log field, which is just a text box field. And on the structure board, we converted the status field into a button that shows the current status just in the button name. And when you click it, you can see some additional information or be reminded of information on the screen that pops up. And this information is coming from deliverables and subtasks underneath of it. And you can update the status, and you can write a log entry. We can see that on the next slide. Then when you update the log entry, what we've also done is added a scripted custom field onto the structure board. And it shows only the most recent and therefore most relevant comment added on the status. And it keeps the presentation of the board cleaner while all the details are still available on the ticket. And you can see that in the next slide. And what this does is it allows you to work your way down the list of on the issues on the structure board, update the statuses, provide information to the managers in a very quick and controlled way. And you never have to leave the structure board to do this. And you could do a lot more than adding a log. You could automatically perform a bunch of other actions, depending on what your use case is. And so structure organizes the tasks in a way that's very visually easy to consume. And the Power Suite helps add traceability while keeping things clean and presentable.
Yeah, this is huge, Sean. I mean, I think one thing we commonly see is, how do you reduce the amount of time to kind of take action on these issues? And a lot of the times, you have to go issue by issue. And it looks like here, we're actually finally starting to simplify all that complexity and focus more on, run your process and your ceremonies from a structure tree, take action on it directly there, and nail a lot of these use cases that we've seen today. So great one. So we'd like to open it up to the audience for questions. Those are three primary use cases. We have several more that are coming in part 2, but now we'd love to hear from you. Miriam, questions from the audience?
Yeah, so we already have a long list of questions, so thank you so much for sharing. So we have a question, let me see. Dana asks, is structure available for data center?
I'll give that one to Phil. Phil, you want to jump in there?
Yeah, yes. So yes, I'll jump in, and yes, structure is available for data center. It's in data center approved, and we've kept that in mind in the development. So it's actually quite optimized to handle data center use cases.
Okay, and then Dan is asking, while this might be obvious, are these functions available to the entire team or a specific set within the team?
Well, the buttons can actually be configured however you like. So you can control who's allowed to see them and who's allowed to act upon them based on user groups, project roles, or just individuals.
Okay, and then kind of along those lines with regard to inside the, can we show work logged by team members instead of individual assignees?
Yeah, as long as you have a way to track what team people are part of, be it just a group, or maybe you're also using an add-on that has a concept of a team like Tempo.
Okay, great, thank you. And then another question from Patrick is, can I display a structure board in a Jira or Confluence dashboard?
So the answer to that is absolutely. You can add both the Jira and the structure board, but also any of the extensions like a structure Gantt view into a Confluence dashboard or in a Confluence page or any of the Jira dashboards. Absolutely.
Okay, great. And then another question from within. Can we create a column like the blockers, but for other link types and directions?
Absolutely. They're fully customizable. As long as the issue link exists in your Jira instance, then you can point to it and decide whether you want both directions or just one direction to visualize into the column.
Okay, great, thank you. And then Sidoni asks, is the health information available across different structures, regardless of which structure it was captured in?
Yeah, I mean, the information that's getting rolled up is really more about the issues themselves than the structure board. So as long as they're the same link types and so on, it can absolutely be across different structure boards.
Okay, great, thank you. And then Trina asks, can we see work logged information over a specific time frame, like just like the last quarter or week, or in a different format, days versus hours?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can do that out of the box in structure already, so you don't need to script anything. But then unless you want to dive into some of the more really cool with the button and to basically break it down, then you'd have to go and use the power actions.
Okay, great. And then a kind of a different question. Sydney says that they're already pretty far down the path to evaluate big picture. So she wanted to have a little insight. What's the difference between big picture and structure?
Well, they're both great products. I think the main thing that differentiates the two is that structure is non-prescriptive in terms of your workflow and the way you do things. So it's fully customizable to any way you do work. So our philosophy is very much that the tool should adapt to the way you do business because you know best. And I think that that's where the differentiation lies.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? All right, then we have come to the end of our time together, and I want to, can we move? Thank you. So we've come to the end of our time together. If you're interested in getting some more information, you can download a white paper where you can learn about kind of a review of what we've covered today, and then some additional use cases, and again, the synergies between ALM Work Structure and Cprime Power Script Solution, so that you can really help to automate some of your processes for scaled agility. I'd like to thank our speaker today, Phil, John, and Monty, and thank you very much to all of you for taking time out of your busy lives and spending it with us. We hope you found this session of value. And as a reminder, we will be sending you the recording and slides out to you within 24 to 48 hours. And we really hope to see you again on one of our other webinars. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.